The Cardinals take 2 of 3 in Atlanta and continue to ride the hot bat of one of the most underrated hitters in Major League Baseball. This is Locked On Cardinals.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily St. Louis Cardinals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, Cardinals fans. I'm JD Hafford, and I'm a national radio sports anchor, born and raised in the Lou and a lifetime Cardinals fan. And I'm your host for Locked On Cardinals, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, covering your team every day. You can follow me on Twitter, X, at JD Sports Radio. You can follow the podcast at LO_Cardinals. I do want to thank those of you who make Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. You can find us on YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. If you're going to go over there, don't be shy. Interact with us. Hit the notification button so you know when new episodes are posted. This is a show serving Cardinal Nation and giving the best fans in baseball all of the info about the birds on the bat. Today's episode being brought to you by PrizePicks. The easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports is by going to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use the code all lowercase LockedOnMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. All right, so let's start off with any trade rumors that have been swirling so far today. I haven't seen much going on concerning the Cardinals. We are starting to see things being mentioned about some of the American League teams. Perhaps the Reds are going to sell now. Maybe the Cubs are going to drop out after this weekend. So things are still moving towards where the Cardinals are obviously going to be buyers at this point, and some of these other teams are going to fall off. So I will remind you to keep following us on Twitter X, and any updates that I can get, I will ship them out to you and let you know. What I can tell you, though, is that the St. Louis Cardinals took 2 of 3 in Atlanta after taking game 2 of the doubleheader and Sunday's game in what I consider convincing fashion. They also win the series, taking 4 of 6 against the Braves, which could be important later on down the road as a possible tiebreaker with Atlanta for a wild card spot. So that is now in favor of the Cardinals. The idea of actually the Cardinals getting the sweep over this past weekend, not really that far-fetched considering how tight game 1 was. You know, they had the lead for quite some time in that one. Game 1 of the doubleheader, they ended up losing that game 3-2 in extra innings, but they were right there. They were right there. Now, granted, the Cardinals did not have to face any of the top starting pitchers for the Braves, right? Spencer Strider out for the year. Max Fried now on the injured list. No Chris Sale in this series. No Reynaldo Lopez in this series. But again, that's not the Cardinals' fault. You know, they can only do what they can against the players that the other team puts out on the field. So not their fault. Game 1, the Cardinals get 9 hits, including Nolan Arenado's 9th home run of the season. You know, Kyle Gibson, he looked really, really good. He goes 6 2/3 innings. He allows 1 run on 3 hits. He strikes out 6. He gets that ERA back under 4 on the year at 3.99. Just snuck it in there. The home run off of Ryan Fernandez was the big blow to tie it up in the 7th inning, and they get the winning run off Chris Roycroft in the 10th inning to win the game. So, a situation where, you know, Roycroft is kind of like the last dude in your bullpen, and that's why, you know, you kind of want to think about upgrading there. So maybe that's not the guy that is throwing in games like that. Game 2 felt like it was going to be a blowout early on, didn't it? Cardinals go up 5-1 after the 2nd inning. Nolan Gorman pops his 18th home run of the year. Be nice to get him going. Did that in the 4th inning, and you got this in the 2nd inning, and now you got a 4-run lead in the 2nd inning, and you got Sonny Gray, your number 1 on the mound, who was mowing dudes down, mowing them down. He looked outstanding until the 6th inning. Cards are up 6-2 at this point, and all of a sudden, Sonny Gray, just like the targeting system was off. I don't know how else to explain it, but he starts missing over the plate. He's not hitting his spots. He starts missing over the plate, and the Braves just start teeing off on him. They hit 3 solo home runs in that inning by Austin Riley, Marcell Ozuna, who had hit 2 in that game total, and then Eddie Rosario, who hit the home run in game 1. Again, goes yard, making it 6-5. And it stays that way until the 9th inning when the Cardinals get 3 more and win it by a score of 9-5. Now, Sonny ends up, toughing out 7 innings because most people thought after that 6th inning, you're out, you're done. But he doesn't. He's still got some juice because his pitch count was actually really, really low going into that inning. He was cruising, you guys. Beyond the one solo home run hit by Ozuna, he was cruising. And it just kind of fell apart there in the 6th inning. It's a good thing the Cardinals had the size of the lead that they had. So Sonny goes 7 innings and all. He allows 4 solo home runs, 5 runs total, but he strikes out 10, gets his 10th win of the season. So saw a lot of pushback of people saying, well, see, he's not an ace. He's not that good. One bad inning. I know. It doesn't look great, but he's still your number one. I still consider him one of the top right-handed pitchers in Major League Baseball. We can disagree on that. That's fine. But I like Sonny Gray a lot, and I think he's really, really good. Sunday, the ball was jumping again in Atlanta. The Cardinals took full advantage. They jump out to a lead in the 2nd inning on 7th place hitter Paul Goldschmidt's home run, his 14th of the season. Yes, that's right. Ollie Marmol finally scooched him down in the order, moved him down in the lineup after the struggles continued in the first 2 games when he was 0 for 8 with 4 strikeouts. It's just been a tough go for Paul Goldschmidt, and I think he understands that. I know there was an article that was released talking about him getting, I don't want to say demoted, but moved down in the lineup, and he should be. If you take his name away and you just look at what his numbers are this year, he's not a 3-4-5 guy. He's just not. And until he becomes that kind of guy again, he shouldn't be hitting there. And I'm glad Ollie finally goes, look, man, we got to slide you down. There's other guys who are producing better than you right now, and they need to be higher in the lineup. And they did it. And what does Paul Goldschmidt do? He hits a home run and his first at bat as the 7th place hitter. So good for Paul. Struck out 2 more times in that game, but good for Paul to get that home run. And hopefully better things for him with a little less pressure down in that 7th spot, which is where he's hitting again on Monday night. Alec Burleson hits 1 in the 3rd inning, right? 18th home run of the year. Huge bomb, right? Just a massive shot. Top of the 4th, Newt hits a home run, his 7th. Willson Contreras gets the Oppo Taco in the 8th, and the Cardinals win the game 6-2 on Sunday. Miles Michaelis, very steady. Another quality start, 6 innings. He allows 2 runs, 7 hits. The home run to Kelnick in the 3rd, but he punches out 3, walks just 1, gets his 8th win of the season. It's games like that where you're like, oh, God, if Miles could only be this dude all the time. But he's not, and we know he's not, so we can't expect it all the time. But the bullpen throws up 3 zeros. All-star Ryan Helsley got some action despite it not being a safe situation since he hadn't thrown in a game since before the All-Star break, July 13th, to be exact. So it had been a while since he'd been in a game. And if it really wasn't for that hiccup in the 6th inning with Sonny Gray, there's just not a whole lot to complain about in this series. You can make some arguments about how things were handled in the first game of the doubleheader on Saturday, but trying to figure out how to maneuver your bullpen when you're playing 3 games in a 24-hour period, it can't be all that easy, right? As fresh as everybody is coming off the All-Star break, you still got to maneuver it. And when you get into that first game and you have the lead and you decide to go to Ryan Fernandez, I didn't have a problem with Ryan Fernandez going in at that point. We've learned to trust Ryan Fernandez this season, haven't we? He's been pretty good. And Ollie trusts him. And Rosario took him deep. I mean, it happens. Nobody is unhittable. And the other side of it, too, at some point, Ollie needs to figure out with guys like Fernandez and Kyle Leahy and Chris Roycroft, there's got to be other dudes outside of Romero and Kittredge who can handle big situations. It can't always be on those 2 guys' shoulders. Again, you're starting to see them crack a little bit at the end of the first half. So you got to figure out something else, and you got to learn to trust somebody else in those situations. So, and learning that is going to help them decide exactly what they need to do at the trade deadline. How desperately do they need another starter or a bullpen arm or a bat? That's why you're going to see some of these guys maybe throw in situations that maybe you didn't see them throwing in as much earlier on in the season. And I know that you're like, oh, gosh, what are you going to cost us a game trying to figure this out? Kind of. You're hoping you don't cost yourself a game, but you got to see what these guys can do. I'm a proponent who says they got to go get all three things. They need a starter, they need a bullpen arm, and why not? Go get a bat while you're at it. Can you check off all of those things on your shopping list here at the trade deadline, which is, coming up in less than 2 weeks? Like, we're just a little over a week away. I don't know. It's not going to be easy, but we'll see what happens. I can tell you one thing for certain. Alec Burleson ain't going nowhere. He's been arguably the biggest surprise and difference maker in this lineup and on this team in 2024, and it's been that way for quite a while now. And I want to talk more about how good the guy they call Biscuits has been. We'll do that next on Locked On Cardinals. PrizePicks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 5 million members. PrizePicks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps on PrizePicks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. You can get in on the daily action with your friends and become a part of the PrizePicks community. And you can now win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10, couple of coffees at a fancy place into $1,000. Into more coffee, if that's what you want to get. Or you can use it to spend it on a vacation this summer or something like that. If you're looking for promotions, PrizePicks has you covered with something each and every week, from lowering select player stats projections on Tuesdays to helping your lineup hit. Or how about getting your entry fee back if you have a losing lineup on Fridays? Kind of nice of them. PrizePicks also available in more than 30 states across the country, including California, Texas, and Georgia. So download the PrizePicks app today. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code LOCKEDONMLB on PrizePicks for a deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy with PrizePicks. Passion, drive, and patience. It's what brings home the winning trophy, and it's also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance, from superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and a whole lot more. Whether you're into speed, whether it's power, whether it's style, eBay Motors has got you covered with over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die. You'll always find exactly what you're looking for, and with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every single time. Not just here and there, but every single time, or you get your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebay.com/motors. eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers, eligible items only, exclusions apply. Are you watching Sports or ESPN on your TV all day and have to turn down the volume because of the shouting? Then make the switch to Locked On Sports today, a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. It's all part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. Leave your comments on YouTube as well as on Twitter X anytime you want. Your feedback always welcome and encouraged. Let's talk about Alec Burleson, because this guy, he deserves it. He deserves credit. He deserves to get some attention, and we're going to give it to him right now. Last year in Alec Burleson's rookie year, he hit .244, 8 home runs, 36 RBIs. Slugging .390. The OPS plus was 87. And what was it that we always kept hearing, right? Hits the ball hard. Just happens to go right at people. Bad luck. A lot of bad luck going on here for Alec Burleson. And for a while there, you kind of got fed up hearing that. You're like, I don't want to hear that anymore. Produce, do something. Hit it where they ain't. You got to do something else. There was some truth to the whole bad luck situation last year for Alec Burleson. His expected batting average at Baseball Savant last year was actually at .277. So 33 points higher than his batting average last year. His expected slugging was .449. 59 points higher than what it actually was last year. But naturally, people are down on him coming into this year. And the team, Ollie, the coaching staff, were not, I don't want to say they're down on him, but he wasn't supposed to be a starter. It was supposed to be Newt in left, Edman in center, Jordan Walker in right. Dylan Carlson was your number 4 outfielder, a better outfielder than Alec Burleson is defensively, yes. But Carlson was going to get the first shot at starting again. And then it was Alec Burleson. Burley was your number 5. He's going to have a little first base mixed in there from time to time when Goldie needed to get off his feet, needed some rest. I mean, he was going to be a bench bat that would get some starts against right-handers, nothing more. That was the idea of Alec Burleson coming into 2024. And they used him that way at the beginning of the season. So they could tell you, oh, no, we believed in him, we trusted him, we knew he was somebody who could do this and that. That's great, but that is not how you started the season. Not until Jordan Walker got sent down on April 23rd did Alec Burleson get the at-bats like a guy that was going to be a starter got. His stats through the 22nd. So before sending Jordan Walker down, 240, no home runs, and 2 RBIs. So it's not like he earned the spot with some fantastic numbers that earned him that spot. Jordan Walker just was worse, just wasn't producing. And they're like, okay, we cannot screw up Jordan Walker. We got to send him down and figure this out. Still hasn't figured it out yet. He's hitting 238, I think, at Memphis now. Like, it still isn't working, which is frightening a little bit. That's not great. But Alec Burleson had made 13 starts leading up to April 23rd. Cardinals were 6-12 at that time. So they'd played 18 games, 13 starts, and they weren't good. Since that time, Alec Burleson is hitting 304 with 18 home runs and 57 RBIs and 303 plate appearances over 74 games, and the Cardinals are 41-33. And he is a huge reason why. On the season, he's now hitting a team-leading 294, which is 16th best in Major League Baseball and 9th in the National League. His 18 home runs lead the team, tied for 9th most in Major League Baseball, 6th highest in the National League. His 59 RBIs tops on the team, tied for the 11th highest in Major League Baseball and tied for 10th highest in the National League. His OPS is now at 824, which is inside the top 30 in Major League Baseball and top 15 in the National League. Now let's break it down even further. Alec Burleson is an outfielder. How does he rank among outfielders? Batting average among outfielders, 6th in Major League Baseball, 4th in the National League. Home runs, 6th in Major League Baseball, tied for 2nd in the National League. Again, this is among outfielders. RBIs, tied for 7th in Major League Baseball, tied for 4th in the National League. His OPS, 10th in Major League Baseball, 4th in the National League. Alec Burleson is doing what we thought Jordan Walker was going to be doing. He is absolutely mashing the baseball. This weekend against the Braves. You know, you want your best players showing out against the best teams. This weekend against the Braves, he goes 6 for 14. Hits that mammoth home run. 435-foot bomb is what they estimated it at. It landed on top of the chop shop in right field at Truist Park. Not a lot of people hit it up there. 435 is horse poop. It went farther than that. There's no way that was only 435. I will stand by that. He has 6 RBIs in the series. He strikes out once. He's now driven in at least 1 run in his last 6 games. Since June 1st, he has driven in 41 runs. That is the most in the National League. Better than everybody. His 13 home runs since June 1st are 2nd in the National League to Shohei Ohtani, who hit another one last night. He's got 16 since that time. Shohei Ohtani, the unicorn himself, greatest baseball player on the planet. That's who Alec Burleson's behind. His OPS is at 915 over that time. Slugging percentage at 592. Where would that rank? 915 would place him fourth in Major League Baseball. 592 slugging would be second, only to Aaron Judge. When your numbers have you around the names like Ohtani and Judge, you're doing something right. You're doing something right. And Alec Burleson has been doing a lot of right recently. Biscuits himself, which is such a great name. Love it. He's helped make up for the lack of consistent production that you're getting from the guys you thought you were going to get it from. Obviously, I pointed out Jordan Walker. He was supposed to be up here doing these things. He's not. But, it's been a down year for Goldie and Arenado. Gorman, overall numbers, you're like, oh, yeah, great. 18 home runs, almost 50 RBIs. But the consistency, obviously, is not there. Very streaky. So, I mean, where would this team be without Alec Burleson? He's been a monster, an absolute monster. And I still don't see anybody nationally ever talking about him. And I know that we're like, fine, we'll keep him a secret. Keep him a secret. Don't let anybody else know about him. But this was a guy that a lot of people last year, I even brought him up as somebody that, well, maybe you ought to trade him. Maybe you ought to use him and get something back. And now you're talking about a guy who's a top 10 hitting outfielder in Major League Baseball, in the National League at the very least. Where would you be without him? Also, a shout out to Brendan Donovan, who has also been huge. Obviously, last year, he was doing fine last year, and he got hurt. Team sucked. Let's go get the elbow fixed. Coming back from an elbow surgery, no easy task, and he's been no slouch either. Since June 1st, Donovan's been hitting .311 with 5 home runs and 23 RBIs, slugging .451, OPS of .813. He's batting cleanup. He's batting cleanup again tonight. Batting cleanup on Sunday. And I'm cool with that. I like it. He's a solid hitter. He's a pain in the butt for the other pitchers. He's annoying in the box, and I love it. And he has a knack for being clutch, which is something you need. Willson Contreras. I mean, obviously, fantastic year last year. Injury this year cost him a lot of time, but since he's come back, helped stabilize this offense. 277, 5 home runs, 14 RBIs, 15 walks, which is huge. His OBP is over 400, 406 because of that. The OPS at 888. It's why I keep saying if Gorman ever becomes consistent, maybe he never does, but obviously he's a guy that you can ride for a week or two at a time. And if you get even close to the normal production that you would normally see from Nato and Goldie, this lineup gets pretty darn scary. It really does. If you can get Goldie started and he's your 7 hitter, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Now the team is going to face the Red Hot Pirates over the next 3 days, starting tonight. And yes, Paul Skeens is going to start one of those games, which I know it's kind of exciting, but at the same time, it's like, do we have to face him again? Anyway, we're going to preview the series next on Locked On Cardinals. I love sports. I know you do too. And it's kind of a bummer when we don't have all the sports that we really, really want going on at the same time. You know, there's points in the seasons where you're like, oh my gosh, we have baseball, football, basketball. There's some hockey going on at the same time. Right now, it's kind of, you got a little bit of soccer. Obviously, baseball is back. Training camps are starting for the NFL. College football is going to get started in about a month. I mean, that's still quite a ways away. You got WNBA going on right now, which has been fun. I've been having a good time watching the WNBA. But even when they're not all going at the same time, FanDuel lets you keep the sports going whenever you want. All you got to do is open up the app and dream up bets anytime you're in the mood. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day, all summer long. So you want to put some action on what's going on with the Cardinals and Pirates tonight? You can do that. Head over to FanDuel.com/lockedon and start making the most out of your summer. Maybe put your trust in Alec Burleson, who's on a heater right now. I know I would, facing the right-hander Mitch Keller tonight. I trust me some Alec Burleson in this one. FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV and the free Fire TV channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day and doing it with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows, which cover every league. You can find Locked On Sports Today now available on the free Fire TV channels app. I was just looking at my camera here, and I realized I didn't put on the ugly old man, we won the series shirt. I hope that doesn't jinx us. Maybe I shouldn't have pointed that out to you. Maybe you didn't notice. Anyway, YouTube people will notice. Audio people, you have no idea what I'm wearing. It's fine. Let's talk about the Pirates real quick. One of the teams that, they seem to be on the cusp of doing some really good things. It's a team that I very much respect and respected them coming into the season. Instead of trading Brian Reynolds last year, which is what everybody thought they were going to do, instead, they signed him. They've locked up their third baseman, Key Brian Hayes, Gold Glove winner. Shortstop O'Neal Cruz is finally having a healthy year. That's been the problem for him, is being injured a lot. You've got the emergence. The pitching has been huge for these guys. The emergence of two rookies in phenom Paul Skeens and Jared Jones have really helped turn things around. They added Aroldis Chapman into the bullpen. He's done pretty well. Bednar, obviously, normally pretty good. Mitch Keller has been very good as usual too. And it's got the Pirates believing in themselves, and it has them pushing for a legit playoff spot. These guys are over 500 now. This is not a joke. The Pirates are 8-2 over their last 10. And in their last 3 series, they took 2 out of 3 from the first place Milwaukee Brewers, a team the Cardinals have struggled with. They swept the White Sox in their 3-game series. The Cardinals had issues with the White Sox at the time. And they just won 2 out of 3 against the Phillies, another team that the Cardinals have had problems with. Everybody's had a problem with the Phillies this year. They got the best record in baseball. Pirates didn't. Pirates took 2 out of 3. They're now 50-49 on the year. They're 2 games behind the Cardinals in the NL Central and a half game behind the Mets, Diamondbacks, and Padres for that third wild card spot. They are in this. They've got momentum. They've got youth. And they've got their 2 top pitchers set to go in this series against St. Louis, which isn't great. Now, Monday's starter, you've got, for the Cardinals, Andre Palante. For the Pirates, Mitch Keller, 10-5 on the year, 3.46 ERA. But the Cardinals have tagged him pretty well this year. In 2 starts, they got him good. Keller's got a 7.36 ERA. So something about Keller, the Cardinals hit well. We hope that continues on Monday night, right? St. Louis has won 4 of its 6 meetings with Pittsburgh this year. Took 2 of 3, both at Pittsburgh and in St. Louis. Following this series, they'll only play one more time. That'll be mid-September in St. Louis. It's a very big series for both teams because on the Cardinals side, will their devil magic continue to work against Mitch Keller on Monday night? I hope so. He's not throwing anything different. Same pitcher, same pitches. Keep doing what you're doing. Now, Tuesday's matchup, that's an interesting one because you got the grizzled veteran Lance Lynn going up against the phenom Paul Skeens. Just started the NL for the NL team in the All-Star game in Texas. He's incredible. Cardinals did not hit him well. Nobody has hit him well so far. He's got a 1.90 ERA so far in 2024 since being called out. He hasn't lost yet. Will the St. Louis Cardinals be the team that finally gives Paul Skeens his first loss at the major league level? Will we be the team that makes a dent in the armor of Paul Skeens? We'll find out. And it ain't going to be easy, but they've already seen him once, so maybe that'll be to their benefit. Due to the doubleheader, the Cardinals will go with a bullpen game on Wednesday, so I would assume you're going to see some Matthew Liberatore probably starting since he's the guy that's gotten starts previously in the past. Guys to be on the lookout for, Brian Reynolds has been scorching hot for the Pirates over the last month, hitting, I think it was like close to 350, something like that. O'Neal Cruz has been killing the ball as well. So got to keep your eye on those guys. And, of course, Andrew McCutchen, still there, still a pain in the butt for the Cardinals normally. So keep an eye on him. Good news is the Phillies just shut them out on Sunday, beat them 6-0. So maybe that's the beginning of a cold streak for the Pirates. Let's just hope their bats stay dormant over the next 3 days as well. That would be nice. But should be a fun battle. Should be a fun battle over the next 3 days. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you guys for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. If you haven't already, please give us a follow on Twitter, X at LO_Cardinals and at JD Sports Radio. Like, subscribe on YouTube and help our channel, and love for the Cardinals grow. You guys are the best fans in baseball for a reason, and I will see you next time on Locked On Cardinals.